Okay, so I'm going to test out a few more features that I added and kind of show those off to see what other people might think or if this is useful for other people. Right now, this is currently just a base diagram that I'm going to end up reusing in later demos. So in the ISP world, this might be one of the setups some of them use for now. So you'd have a couple cores feeding an aggregate QFX device that would serve customers. There are generated patch panels objects that you can do. So you can tell it to insert interfaces from whatever device, and it will insert connector points for those. I'll show you how to do those in a second, as well as the descriptions. If these descriptions end up changing, this map will alert you to that as well. These connector points will update whenever one of these descriptions is changed, and I'll show you that as well later. So, just to show you a couple things that I added, we're going to insert a patch panel for this. This is going to be reused in other um, diagrams. So this is just going to be the generic, here's my list of ports for this device. And then I can use this inside any diagram and update just this one diagram, and it will flow to the others. So what I want to do first, when I click on that device, is I'm going to insert patch panels, connections. So you'll have patch port controls. So I'm going to insert it to the right side. So on this side of the box, I added a couple connectors to use. And I'm going to only do my XE interfaces for now. So you can do selected, clear it because it'll select all of them for now. You can filter it out and then select all. And then that should select all of your XE interfaces. And I'm going to just verify. All right. Now what I want to do is I'm going to have an extra couple connector pairs just because I want to move some points around and kind of make the diagram look a little more organized. And I will hit insert patch points and then get out of here. So you're going to get something like this. These are organized for the most part. They are also tied to each other so I can move them out like this. And then what I'll do is kind of organize them the way I want for now. I'm going to change this up a second, but you'll see here how I have all of the interfaces here. And you can rearrange these if you want. I think I'm going to add that to it as well, because right now it's doing them in an okay order, but not what I would like it to be. Okay, so I'm back. I had to cut the video because I had to fix a bug where if I made these horizontal, it would re-anchor this line to the other side of the box. But one of the features that I was messing with that should be working fine now, if I select these lines, I don't want to guess as far as making them horizontal. I just want to move them so I can just have nice straight lines. And then there's this box over here. We're going to use a single line to draw from the QFX to this box just to represent customer ports. So you can group this to however you want. You can have customer ports, you can have service ports for whatever other devices you might have connected to this. Dealer's choice. So I kind of like this layout. What I'm going to do now is select this, lock these all together so I can move them again without having to move one at a time. Now I can just arrange these however I want. And okay, next couple of items I added, I might have fast forwarded a bit just so I could finish the diagram so you didn't have to watch it. Basically, when I created this patch panel information, all I did was just build an outline. You can do it however you want. this is what I did, just to make it quick for the demo. Essentially, this is an unmanaged device. So if I was to go and edit this device, so for instance, I will edit port 6. What happens is this will um, update based on the information you put in the database or what it finds in the network. So if this was a managed device, this will actually pull the information from the router live. And I'll show you a quick demo on that one of my test boxes. So if I want to edit port 6, let's call it customer G, and I will place the frequency here just for giggles. The frequency automatically gets labeled as well. That comes from here for unmanaged devices, just for ease of tracking. Or if the device is discovered on the network, it will automatically pull that information from the device itself. So if I go to refresh this particular map, so now port 6 is updated with the customer information, the optic, and then the port info. I also added, actually, let's go over the live one real quick. So this is just my test switch here at the house. So right now, so for example, if I was to change port 2, you can see there's nothing on here currently. And now if I go back, oops, and rediscover that device, also just as a refresher, you can go through and actually look at the progress of any jobs if you wanted to see what it was doing in the background. So for example, this is a job that's related to that device discovery. So I just want to see how everything completed. It also gives you like a quick time value, so you can kind of see if anything's taking longer than it should. So this one is good. And I refresh this. You'll see that the description is updated to match what's on the switch currently. I don't have optics in here except for these two. So if I went to swap these optics around, it would change them from here to wherever I plug it in. I also added a couple of options here. Just let's see. So if I wanted to test the new drawing options I put in here, I have a couple. Sometimes when I insert connectors, you know, they don't go flat or they don't go completely vertical the way I would like them. I can actually go through and select one of the lines, for example. I can tell it to make it horizontal, or if I want to make this completely vertical, I can do that as well. I just got tired of eyeballing it, and I kind of like my lines straight and even. So I can select that guy, and then I can do that as well. Um, oops, turn it off. There's also a free draw section. So if I was to trace, if I do this trace mode, I can draw whatever. If I do ortho trace, this will keep my line either completely vertical or completely horizontal. and it should connect them. I can just draw lines that way on the map. And I should be able to change the random features that way. One of the other items I put in here, if you're drawing connector lines so you don't have to match the colors if you don't want to, it's going to take the color from the first line on the device you're coming off of. So this one should be the same color as this, and vice versa. Now, I'll cut this one off here. Um, but for this example now, I'll have a base diagram that I can play with. I'm going to build a test diagram just to simulate kind of like a mock situation from a hub to the customer. And you can kind of see how that can be done. But again, this is set up as a base diagram, so I can just inject this into other diagrams. And if I change just anything on here, it'll automatically update across all the maps. So you only have to update one. And the same thing with any of this information. This will auto update all of the diagrams based on what gets changed on the devices as well.